Hi, I'm Joe Roth. At New Jersey Sharing Network, we're committed to saving and enhancing people's lives through organ and tissue donation and informing people about our life-saving mission. That's why we're proud to support programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
Preparing college students for success next on Caucus New Jersey.
Funding for this edition of Caucus New Jersey has been provided by the New Jersey Education Association, Summit Medical Group, a physician-owned multi-specialty medical practice serving northern and central New Jersey in 70 locations. Cohn Resnick, Accounting, Tax, and Advisory, where forward thinking creates results. New Jersey Sharing Network, dedicated to saving lives through organ and tissue donation. MagnaCare, choose New Jersey. Our mission is attracting companies to the Garden State. And by the law firm of Gibbons PC. Promotional support provided by NJ.com. Small news, big news, True Jersey. And by Commerce Magazine.
Welcome to Caucus. I'm Steve Adubato. Only 56% of full-time college students actually complete their college degree in 6 years. The financial challenges can prevent a student from even seeing college as a possibility. Here in the studio to discuss a very unique way that New Jersey students will be able to graduate in 4 years debt-free, we have Dr. Eugene Kranachia, president of St. Peter's University, Dr. Susan Cole, president of Montclair State University, Lisa Angeloni, Vice President for Enrollment Management at the College of New Jersey, and finally, Dr. Ali Hushman, President of Rowan University. I want to thank all of you for joining us. I could not think of a more important topic for us to discuss that involves the future of so many young people. And let's be clear, we're doing this in cooperation with our friends at the Give Something Back Foundation. Bob Carr, who's founded that organization, is making a huge difference. Gene, put this in perspective. What is the foundation, and what is the foundation's connection to the 4 institutions right here?
Well, the Give Something Back Foundation provides resources for students who are financially vulnerable, as well as mentoring to bring them from high school into college, prepared for college, and then to remove that tremendous burden that many students face about how they're going to pay for college, which becomes an impediment to success.
And Dr. Cole, paying for college, figuring out how you're going to do that, how much pressure does that put on a student and his or her family?
It puts enormous pressure on particularly students from low-income families and middle-income families. They really have a tremendously difficult time. And Steve, they have a particularly hard time in New Jersey because tuitions in New Jersey are quite high, especially in the public sector, because funding for higher education has not been what it should be. So you find students who are in the poorest economic sector of the state, who are talented and ambitious and really want to go to college, struggling for how they are going to manage it.
Let's put this in perspective. We're talking about students who have been identified by the Give Something Back Foundation who will be entering college in the fall of 2019, right? So
2020.
2020, I apologize. But each one of your institutions has received a significant grant from the Give Something Back Foundation. Talk about the impact that it would have at Rowan.
Well, the impact is going to be humongous on every one of these students because look at the alternative. The alternative is that they simply would not have an education. And that basically put them at a massive disadvantage relative to their colleagues, to their fellow students, because in today's world, a baccalaureate degree really has replaced the high school diploma of 20, 30 years ago.
It's replaced it?
Yeah, so it's no longer a luxury, it's a necessity. And for us to deprive, especially in America, where is a land where creativity is generated as a result of educated workforce. When you deprive people of that education, you take away from them that creativity, which results in businesses, jobs being created, products being sold, the economy running. This is what market economy is all about. Starts from that level. So it really is that strategic. This is no longer, let's do it because it's a good thing. Education is strategically important to the future of this country simply because the playing field has been leveled throughout the world. 30, 40 years ago, the elites of China and India would come to this country to get education. Nowadays, they have their own universities. They stay there.
Yeah.
And we are in competition with them.
So hold on, let me get this straight. So these students will be graduating debt-free.
They will be graduating debt-free.
They get, and what does that mean?
That's enormous for these students and for all of our institutions, because we work really hard, Steve, to get students to come to our institutions who have the motivation, the drive to succeed through a 4-year school. This takes the burden of the finances off of them. It means a tremendous amount to their families to support. They will get tuition, room, board, fees taken care of for the 4 years that they're at the institution, as long as they maintain the grades that we've all put in place for these scholarships. We all make a commitment to admit these students into our institutions, and what makes this program really special is that they're going to graduate in 4 years. And we've admitted these students, we've signed admissions letters that say they can come to our institutions. They better graduate from our institutions, and our institutions are making a commitment, not only financially, but we're going to help support them academically to get through our institutions.
But identifying who they are. How does that explain that, how that happens? Identifying who these students are, why they will be particular students, and what that student has to bring to the table.
We've all connected the Give Back Something Foundation and their folks with a lot of the schools and communities that we work with all the time. And they have been busy out there making those contacts and going into the schools and holding information sessions for students and their parents, recruiting students into the program so that they can begin working with them as they enter the 9th grade. And they have those 4 years in high school to get them ready to come to the university.
Keyword ready.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because we were talking to Bob Carr and his team about this, and to disclose fully, the Give Something Back Foundation is underwriting some of our other programming. But I want to be very clear here. One of the things that we picked up in the first conversation I had with Bob Carr is that the college readiness issue that Dr. Cole just mentioned is huge, and that so many students are attempting to go to college, simply not being ready. Correct,
Yes.
Dr. Kanaki?
Yes. I mean, Steve, all of our institutions invest a lot in bringing students up to what is really, college-level capability. And for an institution like St. Peter's, we draw from a very needy population in Hudson County, Jersey City.
Define what that means. So Jersey City.
So, we're dealing with, classes of 40, 50, 60 kids in a class.
Okay.
And these kids already have deficits to begin with. So those are challenges. So we get them. We put a lot of resources into remediation. Then you...
I don't want to assume anything. Remediation. What does that mean?
Well, it means writing skills, oral communication skills, math skills at a level that's commensurate with college-level work, so that when they get into college-level classes, they're not going to, bomb out, which is a challenge. But then when you take that deficit and pile on top the financial challenges and stresses that they and their families have, you have a recipe really for disaster.
Disaster, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, take a look. You started the program by saying that 56% of the American students graduate in 6 years in this country. Yet, and then subsequently said, Give Something Back Foundation is providing grants for needy kids in troubled school who would, as a result of this program, graduate in 4 years. What does that tell you? The consequence of that thing is the finances are playing a major role in the way education is happening in this country. And to the extent that you can provide help and support for these kids so that they do not spend 2 years of their life standing in the line for the financial aid, going to this bank or going to that agency or filing FAFSA, the amount of effort that they need to put together in order to sustain themselves so that they can pursue their education, that to me is a burden that is removed as a result of this kind of program.
So this whole idea of graduating in 4 years, I mean, we could just throw that out there and it just sounds, okay, you graduate in 4 years. But that matters.
Oh, it
Sure.
does.
2 years of life.
Let's talk about that.
The
Someone says, oh, the kid's taking his or her time.
The 4-year graduation rate is so important, and it's important for a number of reasons. One of them, financially, of course.
Yes.
The longer a student stays at our institutions, the more debt they're going
The
to
more it
accumulate.
costs.
That's
right.
right, it more costs. And they don't graduate in the 4 years. In the 5th year, they can start making a salary. If they're with us, they're still paying debt, they're still paying loans. It is so important, and it goes back to what we said earlier. It's how do we prepare them prior to entering our institutions? Right. And then what are our institutions doing with those students once they're with us? Do we have summer prep programs?
Yeah, talk about this.
Do we have summer programs that the students come to for 5 weeks? And I think we all do.
Yes, we do.
For students who are very much Pell eligible at our institutions.
Explain what that means.
Pell eligible is connected to the Give Something Back Foundation because these students must be Pell eligible.
Pell means
that their family incomes are at a certain level that they would be allowed to gain funding, both from the state and from the nation.
The lowest level.
Right. You have to fill
like a zero estimated family contribution.
Right.
The family can't afford it.
That's right.
Simply, they don't have extra money to pay yet.
They don't have extra money to pay, but the graduation rate is so important, and these students can graduate in 4 years. It's been proven over and over, and Mr. Carr has done such a wonderful job. If you look back in the history of his program, 95% or over 90% of his students have graduated in 4 years. Yeah.
How did you all know about this? By the way, you're all very, I know the three of you, and we're just meeting for the first time, but I know the three of you are entrepreneurs in this sense. While you're scholars and academics and all that, you wouldn't be able to do what you do at your respective universities if you were not very good at business and being entrepreneurs. How did you know about this? Or did your people come and say, there's this program, we need to get involved? How did that happen, Dr. Cole?
I actually read an article in the Star Ledger about the gift to the College of New Jersey. There had been a gift to Rowan and a gift to the College of New Jersey. And in that article, it said that Bob Carr was looking for an institution in North Jersey. And I said,
I knew there was
that's me. Those are my students.
You knew that would help your students.
I did. Of course I knew it would help my students. And so I made contact with Bob Carr, and he was gracious enough to let me come and see him, and the rest is history.
Why are you smiling?
I had something to do with it. I told them that somebody from the governor's office called me and he said, we want to have 5 institutions. Who do you recommend? And I said, Rowan, TCNJ, Montclair.
Oh, look at this.
Okay. I swear.
You're telling people too much inside information here. That's not good. But what about you?
Well, I'm laughing because I read an article in the newspaper, a North Jersey newspaper, that talked about your 3 institutions getting this.
That's great.
And I said, oh, but this fits us. So I wrote a letter. And I got the answer back that we've met our quota, no more schools. And I was like, oh no, this is so perfect for who we serve and how we do things. But then a couple of weeks later, I got an email from Kelly Dunn at Give Back Something Foundation saying, Mr. Carr would like to meet you.
But there's something to this.
I ran down.
As we go up against this break, there's a reason I raised this. Because I don't think people understand what the job, and we've had this conversation before about what the role of a college president really is. You have to, and this is important for people to understand this, a college president, someone in an executive position at a university or a college, higher ed, you have to constantly be out there looking for opportunities to help your university and your students and future students who aren't even there yet. Right. And this is part of the way you do it.
Yes, it absolutely is. And let me just say one other thing. The important thing about this program is that mentoring in high school. Because at Montclair State, we don't do remedial work.
You do the mentoring.
We expect the students to be college ready when they come. We have programs in the summer to help workshops to help them get. So the idea of taking the student when they're younger in high school and working with them to get them ready is what is key to this program. That's what makes it different.
Dr. Cole, hold your thought right there. I promise right after this very quick break, we will come right back and talk more about the importance of this very unique program that's changing the lives of so many young people and giving them an opportunity they otherwise probably wouldn't have. We'll be right back.
To see more Caucus New Jersey with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD. And follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
Welcome back, folks. Listen, I want to do this. I've been remiss in trying to get out there, have you give you the opportunity, talk specifically about what your academic institution is doing in the weeds a little bit. I hate using that expression, but actually what you're doing. Dr. Hushman, what exactly are you doing at Rowan to help these students when they get there? Talk about that.
Well, we provide a lot of mentorship. One thing that we have done in recent years, we have gone and hired many, many advisors because we want to reach a ratio of 300 students to 1 advisor. The advising and giving people the right direction to take the right sequence of courses can be tremendously important and impactful in terms of shortening the length of stay in the university. Because otherwise, if a student goes to a faculty member who is an expert, let's say in history, and try to seek advice from that person's knowledge is limited regarding the curriculum. When if you go to a professional advisor who knows all the curricula of the university, that person can be more helpful. So we are trying to help these kids to get mentors, to get advising, to have mentorship in their student affairs so that they're constantly busy and engaged and connected. And really, to me, the key to success of a student is to always create on your campus a home away from home.
A home away from home?
The kid needs to feel at home. This is absolutely essential because this is one of the reasons many, many kids drop out because they come in, they feel dejected, they feel that they are not belong.
That's right.
There are a whole host of reasons.
The social piece.
Absolutely.
But that's the responsibility of the university, the college?
She does that. I mean, that's her job.
Making people feel a part of the community. Talk about it.
Absolutely, and to piggyback on that, I think we're all doing mentoring, we're all doing advising. It's how much does the institution decide that they want to invest in helping students, like the students coming to us from the big.
For example?
How many dollars do we want to set aside, right, to, for instance, intrusive advising? We absolutely want these students. Intrusive
I don't know what that
advising.
means.
It means that we are going to make sure that there are advisors there who are going to pick up the telephone and say, you know what, you missed a class today.
Exactly. That's right.
And where are you? You have a responsibility to yourself. You have a responsibility to this institution because we're giving you an opportunity.
You have
here.
that set up?
We absolutely
At the College of New Jersey, you have
set
that.
up. We absolutely
so
have it
that
set up.
the advisor will not wait for the passive, for the student to go to the advisor and say, I've got an issue. Right. The advisor will proactively reach out for whomever, that student say, listen, we need to talk?
We absolutely do it. And it's proven to work if you look at the College of New Jersey's graduation rates. It works. And that's why Mr. Carr has a 95% graduation rate because he works so closely with these students. But it's intrusive. And the student who comes to the College of New Jersey knows it's intrusive. Yeah. If they don't want intrusive advising, that they're going to go to another institution.
Real quick, what's the On Track program?
On Track program is amazing, and it is for all of our students who are Pell eligible, which I talked about a little bit earlier, or for students in this program. We have an entire schedule set up for them for 4 years, and we monitor them very, very closely every semester. Are they on track or off track? Right. Have they dropped a class? Are they on? And it is called an on-track process. We have key fobs for our students. They click themselves into programming. They click themselves out of programming so that their advisors can say, you know what, you didn't show up to this.
Got it. Something triggers if there's a problem.
That's right.
Jane, jump in. Your place.
You know, the most important thing is making a connection at the school, at the university for a student. I mean, if they find a faculty member that they can work with closely, particularly research projects, a mentor that they feel particularly close to, other students. We use a lot of peer mentors at St. Peter's, particularly in the first year. So we have students who are specially trained to work alongside the freshman year faculty members in class and out of class to make sure they do their assignments, to assist them in setting up study groups, to give them, you know, to basically guide them through the resources that are available to them. And what we found over the years is that peer mentors are better at doing that than many of our more professional ones, because students will listen to other students. And, you know, when a student says, guess what, this is really the best person to go see if you want to solve that problem, it really means something to a freshman, because many freshmen are completely lost in their freshman year. It takes by the end of the freshman year before they feel like they really are at home. No matter how much we put into that effort, sometimes it just takes a long time.
It's so interesting because back in the day, when I say it, I really mean it, at Montclair State, before you got there, I was that freshman at Montclair State. And I remember feeling lost. Yeah. And I was a commuting student from Newark, New Jersey. And I remember, you know, beyond looking for parking, you know, and now I said the campus is built up tremendously and so much has happened there. I remember feeling the pressure, not just academically, but to find a way to fit in. Dr. Cole, is that any different today?
I think it's even more intense in many ways.
Intense.
Yeah, it is. It's a much larger university now than
Much
when
larger.
you were there. So we have more than 20,000 students. That makes it much more difficult to build that kind of community. But all of the things that my colleagues here have said are things that we do. And on top of that, there is also a tremendously rich network of student organizations that help students find that home on the campus. And beyond that, there is, I think, a lot of effort that has to go into organizing the academic program in a way that it is user-friendly to the student, that they are not wasting time going down the garden path in wrong directions. Curricula have to be coherent and clear and well articulated for students to be able to understand them. All of that is important. The bottom line is we take students into our institutions.
Excuse me, very often these students that we're talking about here, they're the first in their family to go.
Of course.
Let's be
Yeah,
really
at
clear.
Montclair State, it's 30% are the first
High
in their
percentage
family.
all the way around. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Dr. Cole,
All
go
of
ahead.
our institutions. And I believe, having taken students into our institutions, we have an absolute moral imperative to do the things that are necessary to enable them to succeed. We must. It is not, there is no acceptable excuse for admitting students and not graduating
That's
them.
on the university. Do you agree with your colleague?
Absolutely, 100%. But think about the first year, something that you mentioned, that
The
the first
first
year, the kids are this. You are talking about 17 and 18-year-olds who have been pampered all their lives, that have never left
Well, hold on,
home.
not in my case, but go ahead, I'm sorry.
Most cases, honestly.
Yeah, I know, I get your
But
point.
then suddenly they come in, they have to
In
leave.
South Jersey, they're pampered.
That's not what he meant. But go ahead.
That's a foreign country, isn't it? You have to have your own passport to get to South Jersey.
No, we're taping up in the north. And by the way, we appreciate you coming all the way up. But let's assume that there's a high percentage of, as you say, Doctor, whether it's pampered or this is new for them
New for
and
them.
challenging. But go ahead.
Yes, as a result, they come in, they have to budget their own money, they have to get up in the morning, they have to balance their time, they have to move from one strange office to another, and suddenly they have lost all of their high school buddies that they have been with for 4 years, and they're all whole new, strange new friends. I mean, think about all of that, and then you go to math class or go to English class. I mean, the enormity of, honestly, the enormity of all of these things is a lot, and people don't realize. And that's why all of these programs are absolutely essential. That's what I meant home away from home. Because unless you feel comfortable where you are, you're not going to focus on what it is that you are there for.
And Steve, one
That's
other
so
thing
true.
that we didn't mention and has become so apparent to us, and we've all thought about this, but we're really working on it now, is that for many of our first-gen students, right, their parents, because they've never been to college, we're working on orientation programs specifically for those parents.
Explain that.
So this summer, for instance, we had an orientation program for all of our students who are part of our Education Opportunity Fund program. Different than the normal orientation. This was an orientation to teach them about vocabulary, about words they're going to hear that they don't know. I mean, most of us don't say bursar anymore, but there was a time when people didn't know what a bursar was. What does that mean?
Isn't that where you pay the bill?
That's right.
I did know that, but go ahead.
But there are families.
No, you didn't pay it.
Oh,
That's
stop
right.
it, Doctor. I thought you were going to let that go. You said you were going to let that go. Go ahead.
There are families who don't know. Just because they don't know, they haven't
Yes.
been around it. And it's helping the families
Sure.
understand that, you know what, it's probably not a good idea if Lisa doesn't come home this week. Don't let her come home this weekend. It's okay.
Yeah.
You need to find another babysitter because they need to
Yeah.
stay on our campus and integrate into our campus. So it's educating families and parents.
Quick, last question before I let you out of here. And by the way, we can't thank you all enough for being here to talk about this very important topic. We had an entrepreneur, a very successful 40-year-old entrepreneur who came in our one-on-one program in New York and said, you know what, college is overrated. I've been very successful as an entrepreneur. Yeah, I went to college, but I could have used that money for something else. And a lot of young people responded to him. Make the case.
Well, the data is still compelling that a college degree matters a great deal in the life of an individual, you know, on average earning $1 million more than somebody without one. Now, there are those people who don't have a degree who have some brilliant creative idea and strike it right at the right time in history, but what percent of the population is that? It's a very small
And we can't
percentage.
be leaning on that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree with him. I mean, yes, there are people that are brilliant and they don't need education, but they are not the masses. The
That's
masses
right.
need education. All of them do.
Yes.
And the other thing I always find about, and I argue with them on the air about this, is the social piece, the piece of connecting to other people. How do you put a price tag on that? For so many people, the richness of that higher ed experience is extraordinary. Listen, this program, this initiative is changing the lives of so many, but that would not be possible beyond the foundation without you and some of the other colleges that may be coming on board over after this. But I cannot thank you enough on behalf of everyone on public television for joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
It's a
you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
The preceding program has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence, and 13 for WNET, NJTV, and WHYY. Funding for this edition of Caucus New Jersey has been provided by the New Jersey Education Association, Summit Medical Group, Cone Resnick, New Jersey Sharing Network, MagnaCare, Choose New Jersey, and by the law firm of Gibbons PC. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. Caucus New Jersey has been produced in partnership with TriStar Studios.
As an educator, it's all about connections. You're not just in the classroom, you're part of the community. You meet these tiny kids every year and you help them learn and grow. But you also get to know their families, and over the years they become a part of your life and you become a part of theirs. When you build those connections, you can accomplish some pretty amazing things. I'm Jackie Kruzik, and I'm proud to be a New Jersey educator.